Hi, Joe Cerrone, Intro to 3D Printing. Today I'm going to go through the lecture for Module 1 or Lab 1. Go to the Content tab, and we're going to take and work with Lab 1, CAD Basics. And in this lab, what we're going to do is we're going to download this template file. And what I've done is I've basically created these three different shapes: a circle, a rectangle, and an ellipse. And then we're going to add text to it, and then we're going to model it. So to get started, you will need AutoCAD on your computer. If you have not installed AutoCAD, you'll need to either go to one of the computer labs to work, or you'll need to download the software, or you'll need to VPN. And the easiest thing to do is to download the software. And the instructions are right here in the main splash page. Returning. Once you've downloaded the software, what you'll do is you'll click on this link and you'll download the student file. And then you'll select Open. This is a basic title block. And as we look at the way the software is set up, this is our main ribbon here. And it has a Home tab, an Insert tab, and a number of other tabs we go through. We're going to leave it on the Home tab. You have the big red A here, which handles things like opening and starting new files and saving, and then exporting to formats that we can print on our 3D printer, and of course traditional paper printing. I click off the screen. This pull down menu here is enabled by selecting the down arrow, and it's either on or it's off. If I hide the menu, it's off. If I show the menu, it's on. Basic 2D construction will be done with draw commands. We'll use commands like circle. To use the circle command, what we'll do is we'll click on circle. It's left mouse click, and then you bring the cursor here onto the drawing title block. And then if you read the prompt, it says specify the center point for the circle. And CAD works in X and Y coordinates. And so down here in the lower left-hand corner, you have X coordinate and Y coordinate. We don't necessarily need to get all caught up into the numbers aspect of it, but what's good about CAD is it's a vector-based modeling software, which means that by creating a circle, we'll give it a center point, and then as we move the mouse, it'll actually measure the radius. So it's just a circle with a 1-inch radius or a 2-inch diameter. And that's all we need to get started at this point. We'll also go and we'll make a rectangle. We'll click once, and then again. Now this one, it kind of snapped a little bit smaller, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be exactly the same as this. We're just creating these models. If you do want to stretch it, you can click on it, and then it has these blue squares. And if you hover over them, it gives you the dimensions of your parts. Again, this makes it really convenient to work with our machine tools. And then we can click on these grips, make them hot or red, and then just kind of scooch that over. And then I'll hit the escape key, clear off that grip. And then I'll make an ellipse. And the ellipse command is hidden. Well, it's not really hidden. It's right here. in the draw commands. And there's different ways to make it. This is the easiest, center. And if you hover over a command long enough, it'll give you a help screen. And then the numbers 1, 2, and 3 are the mouse buttons. And so you click once in the middle, once to the right, and once down. And that will give you your construction. We'll go center. Then I'll just kind of come here and I'll just kind of glide over. And I'll go once, and then I'll go to the right side, or I'll go up. I think I'll go up. It looks like it's sort of where I want to do. And I'll go to the side. And I am going to make this one bigger. You can also, if you want, you can put a small circle inside of these, make them able to put a hole through it. Now, one of the things that you'll notice is that it snaps. And so you're like, hey, every time I try to draw something, it's on this grid. Turn off the snap. We can just type in the word snap, S-N-A-P, hit enter, and then hit the down arrow and turn it to off. When the snap is off, you're not constrained by a grid or numbers. It'll draw whatever you want. So turning on and off snap can be a useful thing. I'll just put a couple of circles on these. Again, you don't have to do this component. It's just sort of what I find is a lot of people have some CAD experience and they just want to make things a little bit more creative. And so the first exercise is designed to kind of explore that. Once we have this component created, we'll click on the tab here for the second page. And what we'll do is then we will put our name on these objects. And so what I can do here is I can just double click here on the word name. I can put my name and I'll just abbreviate it. Do the same thing here. And then I'll do this here. Once we've done that, we'll go to the page 3. And it's not allowing me to do that. So I'll have to hit escape or I'll have to hit the green check mark. It looks like escape will do that for me. And then I'll create the extrusions for these parts. And so to create the extrusions, what I'll do is I'll extrude the shape down 0.1 or up 0.1. So to do that, I'm going to turn the wheel on the mouse, and then I'm going to type in extrude. I'll select this and hit enter. Then I'll go down, I'll type 0.1, enter. And what that does is it creates a solid model of that component. I can then go and extrude the letters up, and if you turn the wheel on the mouse, you can increase the zooming of it, and it will zoom within this red box called a viewport. And then I can extrude those letters up. And so I'll say extrude. And I'll select these letters. I'll hit enter. Then I'll move the cursor vertically. And sometimes there's a little lag with it, a little latency. And that's normal depending on how strong your computer is. I'm using my old IBM ThinkVantage T420. It's an i5 with like 8 meg and a graphics card, but it does the job. I'm going to type in 0.1 for the height. And there it goes. And so I'll go through and I'll do this part here. Again, extrude. And then I'll select these geometries. When you select, what you do is you click with the mouse. Hit enter. And as you pull those up, we'll type in height 0.1. I missed a little part here, so I'll turn the wheel on the mouse. I'll push the wheel, and that allows me to change the display. Extrude. You don't have to type the whole command in. I'll select this line, hit enter, go up. 0.1. Then I'll turn the wheel and get the rest of the part. You'll notice that this says student name on it instead of your name on it. And that's sort of, where we're going to have some of these connection issues where as I model the software and we develop this course, we can work with the template where it says student name as we get better with CAD. Some of the students will be able to go in and put their name on it and then change it and explode it. And we'd be happy to work with some of that. But for the first day, we'll work with it the way it is right here. So I'll type in extrude, and I'll select these other letters. Make sure I have them all. Hit enter. And I'll bring that up 0.1. And then I'll turn the wheel on the mouse. So that's going to be my first 3D model. And if I want to see what that looks like, I can go and I can shade it by saying View, Visual Style, and it gives me my part there. And then I'm going to save it. And so I'm going to say File, Save As, and I'm going to save that. I usually put them onto my H drive, and I go by year, and then I go by course number. And so I'm going to save this with my initials in the beginning, AC dash plate title block. This is version 2, which is fine. And I'll hit save. Watch where it goes. Mine is going to go to my H drive. You might want to get a USB and put it in so that you always have that on file. I'll save that file. And then this file then will be turned into the D2L Dropbox. And so to turn it into the D2L Dropbox, we'll go here again. Once we've saved the file, we'll go back to D2L, and then we'll go to our Assignments tab. And in our Assignments tab, we'll have a Dropbox here. And so I'll just create it right now. We'll call it Project 1. We'll call it and we'll attach CAD file from project here. We'll save that. Now my view will look a little bit different since I'm in instructor mode. We'll make sure that the course is visible, or at least the project is visible. And you'll save the file and submit it here for grading. And the projects will be graded with the rubric, and we'll have an attached grading rubric for this project in our lab 1. Getting back to the drawing, if I come back to my AutoCAD, I can then take this file. I'm pretty well done with it. If I want to do some of the other ones, I can come over here, panning it. And again, if I want to extrude these, you can do it with a visual style on. And select that, hit enter, bring it down, 0.1, enter. And if I pan over, I can extrude these other ones, turn the wheel on the mouse, make it a little bit bigger, and I can type extrude. Now, sometimes with the visual style, it's a little bit difficult to select it. So let's see, E-X-T-R-U-D-E. Select the green ones. And so it is a little bit more difficult because since it's in color now, it recognizes the solid. So as I go up with that, 0.1, a little bit more work to do it with the visual style on. If I turn off the visual style view, visual style wireframe, it's easier to work with. And so I can extrude that well. And so as you select them, they're added to this selection set. It says it found them. I turn the wheel on the mouse and I pan the wheel. And I can just continue to add parts to select to be extruded. If you accidentally select the blue lines for the box or the name tag like this, hold the shift key and click on it to unselect it. And it'll say it's removed from the selection set. And then hit enter. Then drive it up and type 0.1. That will bring that up 100,000th of an inch. And that's a second tag that we created. And if you want to do a second tag, you can save it, save as, version 2, tag 2. We're really quite flexible. We want to be creative, we want to see what the student can do, and we want to have some basic understanding of the modeling tools. Okay, so this completes the CAD Basics for Lab 1.